Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Tuesday. I'm back. First of all, apologies if you've missed my videos the last few days. Been obviously half-term week, went away for the Jubilee weekend, chasing the kids around Chessington. Absolutely exhausting it was, lots of fun. Almost feels like a holiday now, coming back to work with the kids going off to school. They're saying that my daughter's not even at school, she's downstairs because she's ill. Joys of being a parent, huh? But anyway, enough about that. I hope you're all well. I hope if you're watching this over in the UK, you had a great Jubilee weekend, lots of time off, lots of sun, lots of drink, had a good time, and I hope wherever you are across the world as well, if even if you weren't celebrating Jubilee weekend, you had a good time as well, and keeping yourself busy in this off-season, pre-season, whatever you want to call it. Technically, I think it's still the off-season, isn't it? Pre-season starts when Arsenal return in less than a month's time. Amazing now how soon it is that the non-internationals are going to be back. Arsenal's first game of pre-season is only about a month away now, so we are soon going to be back with plenty of football to talk about, but at the moment it is just obviously about transfers a little bit as well. On the under-23s coach, Arsenal losing Kevin Betsy to Crawley Town. Dan Machichi as well, the under-18s coach, has also gone with him. I'll talk about that later on in this video, but I just wanted to start today with a little bit of discussion really about Bukayo Saka. No surprise whatsoever. This was always going to be coming at some point during the summer. He's now being linked with various clubs, Manchester City, most specifically Liverpool as well. Been reported in the last 24 hours that they are, I think it was sort of saying that Man City is stepping up their interest in Bukayo Saka, not potentially for this summer, more for next summer when he's down to the final year of his contract. And I've spoke about this in previous videos when I've talked about Saka, Martinelli as well, how important it is that Arsenal get these contracts sorted with those two. Absolutely, it's got to be done rapidly this summer, because this sort of thing was always going to happen. This noise, it was just a matter of time. There was no way it wasn't going to happen, because when you're as good as Bukayo Saka, when you're as good as Gabriel Martinelli, clubs are going to want you. It's plain and simple. Or even if they don't want you, there's going to be lots of links, lots of noise, just because of the nature of the player, the quality of the player, and the length of contract they've got remaining. So this was always going to happen, and it's happened now with Bukayo Saka and Man City. It's generated lots of debate. I've seen on social media the last 24 hours lots of people talking about it. Some people saying, why would Saka go to Man City? It'd be crazy. First of all, I think that's rubbish. I don't think it'd be crazy to go Man City at all. I think Bukayo Saka, the quality that he's got, the rise, the trajectory that his career has been on, he doesn't shirk any challenges. He's not scared of a challenge. He would absolutely back himself to go to Manchester City and become as much of a guaranteed starter as you can be in a Pep Guardiola side with the amount of rotation that he brings. But that's not me saying that Saka should go to Man City. Far from it. Obviously, I don't want that to happen. But if the worst ever did become reality, whenever that may be, I would absolutely back him to go there and be a success at any club, because he's that good. I just think Saka's that good, and he's frightening, the potential he's got, the quality he's got. He's not even close to reaching full potential yet. And every club in Europe, in the world, every top manager in the world would want Bukayo Saka in their squad, in their team. So there's no surprise that these links are coming about, and it's just something that Arsenal are going to have to deal with, and they're going to have to deal with it until they get their contract, his contract, Martinelli's contract sorted as well. It was always going to happen, and that's why it's just so key. Like, there's been lots of talk when Arsenal missed out on the top four about the impact it was going to have on their transfer plans, and it may well have an impact on their transfer plans, but they still believe they can sign the players they were hoping to sign anyway. Gabriel Jesus, U23s, they're still going to try and sign them. Whether they do remains to be seen, but they will still try and sign them. But for me, Saka was always going to be the biggest potential impact, just because of how good he is, how many clubs will clearly be in his agent's ear at the moment saying, what's his situation? Is he going to sign? How much could we potentially get him for this year, next year, whatever? And this was always going to be a real issue for Arsenal, and missing out on top four was going to be a big impact, because Bukayo Saka, he's good enough to be playing in the Champions League. I've said it many times. It doesn't matter how much you love the club. It doesn't matter how deep-rooted your connection is. Yes, he's the Hale End poster boy. Yes, he's got Arsenal DNA that Mikel Arteta has spoken about at times before. But that only goes so far when you're as good as Bukayo Saka, because you've got to be able to match your ambition on the pitch. And hopefully Arsenal can do that, because Mikel Arteta, whatever you think of him, he is absolutely steadfast in his belief that he can get Arsenal back competing for the biggest trophies and come back in the Champions League on a regular basis. Yes, he missed out this season, but he does still believe that can happen. And for him, Bukayo Saka is clearly going to be absolutely key to that. He's the kind of player that you need to build this whole rebuild around, and he has been rebuilding it around. He's never present in the team. But having said all that, Saka will be looking at his mates. He'll be looking at Jack Grealish, who's gone to Manchester City in a similar position to Saka, actually, leaving his boyhood club, the sort of emotional ties that was all about, but leaving them, deciding to leave, go to Man City, and he won the title in his first season. Yes, he may not have been a regular starter, but that's just what you got to deal with when you go to a club like Manchester City. He'll be looking at that and thinking, he's won the title, he's playing in the Champions League week in, week out. I could be doing that. And that's why Arsenal got to sort this out. It's got to be so important to sort it out. Just get this contract done. It's not going to be easy. I've said it before. Saka's representatives, his agent, they have the power now. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He's clearly going to have a lot of clubs banging on his door. I mean, this kind of feels like it's almost sort of power play situation for them. That the fact that this has emerged now in the summer, where all these contract talks are going to be happening with Arsenal. But Arsenal aren't stupid. They're going to know that top clubs, whoever they are, whether it's Man City, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Madrid, Barcelona, anyone, are going to be looking at Saka's situation thinking, we could get ourselves a bit of a bargain here. Potentially not this summer, but certainly next summer. And that's why Arsenal have got to get this done, get him tied down to a contract, convince him that he can match his ambitions at Arsenal. And that's the big job. Arteta's very good at convincing players and getting them to believe in him. He's done it before. This is going to be his biggest job yet. Can he get Saka? Can he convince him that he can commit to Arsenal and achieve his ambitions here? The good thing with Arsenal, and I talked about Jack Grealish. Grealish obviously did stay through his younger years. He didn't leave for City until mid-20s, something like that. Saka's obviously at the very start now. He's only 20, so that is the one good position Arsenal are in. Perhaps they can say, look, you're only 20. You're playing. You are the main man here. You're playing week in, week out. Will you get that at any other top club right now? So hopefully Arsenal, that's an advantage they have in these contract talks, but it's going to go on throughout the summer. It's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on, and fingers crossed that Arsenal do get sort of successful outcome with these contract talks, because if they don't, these sort of things that we're hearing now, the noise, the Manchester City links, they're going to continue. It's just going to be the case. Okay, so from Saka, let's talk about Gabriel Jesus quickly. I mean, to be honest, there's not much really to talk about, but his name is constantly in the headlines at the moment, given his situation at Manchester City and given the quality of the player. Lots of clubs interested. Arsenal, as reported widely, absolutely want Gabriel Jesus. He's been linked with Real Madrid now. In the last sort of 24 hours, it's gone quite big in the Spanish press that maybe Ancelotti really wants Jesus. That has been denied elsewhere. It's just the way of the transfer window at the moment. I've seen, I get so many questions, so many people messaging me saying what's going on with Gabriel Jesus. The fact is, and I said this in the last video, it's just in that sort of waiting game at the moment when it comes to him, because he's away with international duty, which so many players are at the moment, which is why maybe a lot of deals, aren't really happening. I mean, transfer window's not even open yet. And we're just going to have to wait and see. Once he finishes with Brazil, then that's when all things are going to start really moving forward with Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal, they will not be the only club after a player of his quality who's potentially available with only a year left in his contract. There's going to be other clubs. I don't know if Real Madrid are interested. I don't know if Tottenham are interested, who are also being potentially linked with interest in him. For Arsenal, it's just a case of trying to convince him. Don't worry about who else is interested, trying to convince him that his future is best served at Arsenal. That's something they've been working on for an awful long time. The talks with the agents have gone back a long time. The agents have gone publicly and said that Gabriel Jesus likes the Arsenal project. He likes what they've been told. So we'll have to wait and see whether it comes to it. But right now, I think you just got to be a little bit patient. You're going to see him linked to other clubs like we're seeing at the moment with Real Madrid. And ultimately, we're just going to have to wait and see how it all pans out. But, Arsenal's still very much interested in the Brazilian forward. Another thing that's happened while I've been away, so I haven't spoken about it, but I just wanted to quickly touch on it now, is William Saliba obviously coming out in that French interview saying how he will be going back to Arsenal, he's an Arsenal player, and how he feels like he's got something he needs to prove there. Great to see him come out and say that, kind of put an end to the speculation if that's what you want to say. I mean, ultimately, I still think the whole thing with Saliba kind of going to revolve around what he does with his contract. Like Saka, he's only got 2 years left on his contract. Will Arsenal want him to get down to the final year? We'll have to wait and see. But just for him to say that is great. I mean, I can't wait to see Saliba during pre-season and hopefully at the start of next season. He might have to bide his time. Ben White and Gabriel, they're Arsenal's first choice centre-backs at the moment. Saliba might have to bide his time. When he gets his opportunity, take it. And I've said it before, if he does take it, there's absolutely nothing to suggest that he won't force his way into the team, because Mikel Arteta's shown if a player gets given an opportunity and takes it, then he stays in the team. And I don't see why that won't be the case for William Saliba. He had such a good season in France with Marseille. His loan's been great. It's absolutely taking him to another level, and you hope now that he can come and show at Arsenal, because I think we've all waited long enough to see Saliba in an Arsenal shirt showing what he can do. And it looks like, given what he's had to say on French TV while I've been away, and certainly from Arsenal's stance, that he is coming back and he is going to be a sort of key figure in Mikel Arteta's plans next season. Again, contract talks need to be happening with him, because you don't want him going down to the final year, just like Saka, just like Gabriel Martinelli. And I'm sure that's something that will be going on this summer. Okay, quickly on to the under-23s. I mean, this is really interesting development. Obviously, Kevin Betsy was the under-23s coach for Arsenal, appointed last summer by Per Mertesacker to replace Steve Bold. He has been linked for the last couple of weeks with the vacancy at Crawley Town, and now he has been appointed at Crawley Town. So congratulations to Kevin Betsy. And it's going to leave Per Mertesacker with another summer, a busier summer than perhaps he was expecting. He spent all last summer looking for the right man to replace Steve Bold. He appointed Kevin Betsy, bringing him in from the England setup. Inspired choice, really. You talk to anyone around the club about what Kevin Betsy's done, and it's just everyone praises him. He took Arsenal to third place in Premier League 2, really improved the style of football immeasurably from the young kids that we're seeing the season before. The youngsters really like playing for him. He put a new sort of style of playing out from the back that Arsenal really wanted to implement. So it's similar to Mikel Arteta's style. And he was doing really, really good things. Like I said, the youngsters all really like playing for him. Unfortunately, now that has come to an end. It was a difficult one for him to turn down. Crawley Town offering him the first team manager's job there. And it's made Per Mertesacker's summer probably, as I said, busier than expecting, especially as Betsy has also taken Dan Machichi with him, who was the under-18s coach. So not only is Per Mertesacker now looking to appoint an under-23s manager for the second time in basically a year, he's now also going to have to appoint an under-18s coach as well. Which is hardly ideal for him. The good thing is that I think Mertesacker, what he proved with his appointment last summer when he appointed Kevin Betsy, is that he's got a very good eye for getting the right guy in, and he'll work very hard this summer in sort of identifying the person that he wants. There'll be an interview process, I'm sure. I mean, there is a chance maybe that Mehmet Ali, who's been working kind of as Betsy's assistant, might just get promoted and get the job, and if that's the case, maybe that's slightly easier than it would be if they went for a sort of vigorous attempt at finding someone new. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what process Arsenal go with when it comes to appointing a under-23s coach. But it's a really important job. There's no doubt about it, because a lot of these under-23s are really beginning to knock on the door of the first team now. Certainly Charlie Patino, Marcelo Flores, Amari Hutchinson. Whether all of those will be with the 23s next season is doubtful. Some of them will probably go on loan. But it's a really important job. Mikel Arteta clearly wants to academy players, putting pressure on the first team squad, and so he will want these under-23 players to be trained up as well as they possibly can, and Betsy was certainly doing that. So yeah, a bit of a blow for Arsenal, and it's not a disaster by any means, and I'm sure with Mertesacker in charge of the academy, they will appoint a good successor. A lot of people have been saying to me, Jack Wilshere. I mean, I interviewed Jack. I don't know if you saw it recently. I did an interview with Jack, went up and met him at the Emirates about a week and a half ago, and he spoke at length about how he might even retire now if a decent coaching opportunity came up. Obviously spent a lot of the beginning part of this year and the end of last year coaching at Arsenal, working with the young players. So maybe that's something. I mean, he hasn't passed all his coaching badges or anything like that, so we'll have to wait and see if that's something that potentially Arsenal look at. I think it's probably doubtful, but and given the quality of fully qualified coaches there are around, you would think that Arsenal would want Jack to have be fully qualified before they gave him a role as important as that. So I think it's probably doubtful, but hey, I'm sure if the opportunity arises, he'd love to. He'd certainly throw his hat in the ring, and I know there'll be widespread interest from elsewhere in the footballing world for this role, because who wouldn't want to manage Arsenal's under-23s given the quality that they possess. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. That's it for me today. Good to be back. And yeah, obviously follow me on all my social media channels, and I'll continue to do these videos as the summer progresses, as hopefully it becomes a little bit more busy and it all becomes a little bit more clearer when it comes to exactly what Arsenal are going to do in the transfer market. Have a very good day, everyone. I'll speak to you soon.